Maine. The way life should have been. You cross the bridge on 95 and something shifts. The air changes. The world slows down. This is the land that built legends. Where Joshua Chamberlain held the line at Little Round Top and saved a nation. Where Stephen King dreamed up our darkest fears from a Victorian mansion on a quiet street. Where Paul Bunyan still stands tall in Bangor, watching over a city that once roared with industry. Where Belgrade lakes shimmer gold at sunset. Where the Nubble Lighthouse has guided sailors home for over a century. Where Katahdin rises above it all, from first light to last. But something happened to Maine. Funtown is silent now. The lobster boats rot in the harbor. The streets of Portland are lined with tents. And thousands of Maine families have been torn apart. Not by tragedy, but by a system that profits from their pain. The money keeps flowing. The budgets keep growing. And the people of Maine keep asking, what happened to the way life should have been? Maine is crashing. And just like that B-24 that went down over Katahdin, nobody is coming to pull it out of the wreckage. Maine's Child Protective Services has been breaking apart families at a concerning level. And no one is paying attention. Until it's too late. Maine. We are more than too late. We have destroyed our next generation by kidnapping the very children who were meant to carry the Maine heritage forward. The children of lobstermen and loggers, of farmers and fishermen, of teachers and tradespeople. Gone. Ripped from the families that built this state.
Miles apart. Same state. Same corruption. Same silent majority still whispering. Someone should do something. We're done whispering.
Two names on opposite ends of the same main map. One built the weapon, one felt the trap. CPS Punisher, grinding code in the dark. Angry citizen watching the system leave its mark. Same court, same lies, same rubber stamp lies. Same family shredded while the state looks wise. They count on distance, they count on fear. They count on us staying quiet year after year. Tired of the posts, tired of the size. Tired of someone should while the children cry. Complaining is free, action costs blood, but silence is the only real flow. Same state, same war, no more dividing lines. CPS Punisher and the angry citizen rise. No more fear of the retaliation game. Expose the heinous or the cycle stays the same. We're done telling Maine we're scared and small. We're done watching illegal acts stand tall. Commit, act, name it, burn the dark. This is the line,
And we just crossed the mark.
illegal seizures dressed up as protection. Warrantless doors kicked in without objection. Due process treated like optional link while the machine keeps printing another black sink. They thought the distance would keep us apart. Thought the fear would stop the beating heart. But every mile between us just made the fuse longer. Now both ends are lit and the powder's stronger.
No more, I wish someone would. No more waiting for the next good mood. The state keeps moving because we stay still. That ends tonight by force of will.
Same state, same war, no more dividing lines. CPS Punisher and the angry citizen rise. No more fear of the retaliation game. Expose the heinous so the cycle stays the same. We're done telling Maine we're scared and small. We're done watching illegal acts stand tall. Commit, act, name it, burn the dark. This is the line,
And we just crossed
Getting the truth out is more important than telling the state you're too scared to move. Every day we stay quiet is another day they prove they can do it again. And again. And again. We're tired of it. We're past the point of polite. No more protecting their comfort while they destroy another life. The only thing worse than the crime is the silence that lets it continue. So we name it, we document it, we put it in the light, and we do not look away. Same state, same war. The distance is dead. Same war. The distance is dead. Same war. And the angry citizen stand and stand. No more fear. No more polite little games. We expose the heinous and we own the names. We're done telling Maine we're scared and small. We're the ones who refuse to let the illegal stand tall. Commit, act, name it, burn the dark. This is the line, and we just crossed the mark. Miles apart was their strategy. Same state, same fight is ours. Maine matters. Now act like it.
All right. What is up? Happy Friday, everybody. Here we are, my friend, the angry citizen. Good evening, Dana.
What up, Darren? Hello, Maine. Hello, America. I like the Moxie can on that Maine Matters background. Those of you who are not from Maine, you might not know about Moxie. Moxie is a soda that we have here in Maine. It is, depending on who you ask, it's either vile and disgusting and tastes like cough syrup, or it's delicious, the best thing that you ever had in your life. So,
That sounds.
do you drink Moxie, Darren?
I had it in the time past. As far as now, it has that. It's got that taste, man. Hold on one second. I'm just switching my Bluetooth here. Sorry about this. Is that better?
Yeah,
Or is it
much
as
better.
all right. Sorry about that. Moxie, as a kid, my stepfather actually used to drink Moxie like he was going out of business, man. Which I don't know if it did or not, but I think Coca Cola or something bought it, right? But actually used to be a little stand on the side of the road going up to I believe it was from like Sanford, like the stretch from Sanford to going up to Biddeford there. There used to be like a little farm stand on the side of the road that actually sold bottles of Moxie. And when we'd go up to camp every year, we'd stop there and he'd buy, a 6 or a 12 pack. I don't know if the guy was a distributor or what it was, but he actually sold, I guess you would say, fresh Moxie. So they would go to this little thing and pick that up. So yeah, I mean, they sell it nationwide now, don't they?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I thought they only sold it in Maine. I'd never seen it till I came to Maine.
Yeah. But in that picture that you see behind me there, I put a couple of main items, as you can see the Moxies there. But also, Dana, is it this way if I lean? Right there. You don't see fluff anywhere else in this world either, other than Maine. Maine fluff is a Maine thing. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, fluff is a Maine made item, which I didn't
Hmm.
believe that either until looking recently. Well, recently is in a couple years ago, looking up some of that stuff and seeing what was Maine made. Because there used to be a shop actually in Belgrade Lakes that I used to go to, and that was called the Maine Made Shop, and they of course had a wall of Moxie and a wall of fluff. So,
Hmm.
little piece of Maine
Okay.
history. Didn't mean to go on a rant about those things, but I'm obviously a heavier guy, so I appreciate Maine made food. Like for instance, this here, this little fella right there. I can't really quite get my finger pointed correctly at it, but
We're
you know what I'm trying to point at right there.
struggling. No, it looks
Right there.
vaguely like
There we go.
a
There it is.
lobster. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Now, how much do you
Yeah.
enjoy lobster, Dana?
It's not a big thing with me, Darren. I don't know. I've never been like a huge fan of it. My ex-wife loved it. She'd eat like three,
Mm,
but for
yeah.
me, it was just, I don't dislike it. I'm just not that
Right.
guy that's just like, oh my God, lobster, it's great. I'll eat a lobster roll once in a while, but
Yeah. See, no,
not
no,
my
no,
favorite.
no.
Not my
I'm not
favorite.
a fan. Yeah, I'm not a fan of mayonnaise, first of all. And by not a fan, I mean I despise it, detest it, don't want it anywhere near me. It can kill me. It's a horrible, horrible thing. And I know that it's just oil and egg, but still, it's just those things together make my throat swell, so I don't touch that. But I was recently made to know about the lobster roll. Do you know that there's a lobster roll with mayonnaise, and then there's also a lobster roll with butter?
I did not know that. I've always had them with mayonnaise.
Right. Well, I guess there is one with butter on it, and they're considered that. And do you know what the current price is of a lobster roll here in this fine state, Dana?
I don't know, but I'm gonna guess it's at least like $13 or so.
$38 is the
Are
average
you
price
kidding me,
of a
dude?
lobster roll in the state of Maine right now. $38.
Holy sugar! Wow, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
So if you are coming here for
So
vacation and want to get a lobster roll,
when I have
pack
lobster
your
roll,
wallets.
yeah, better
Yeah.
bring your cash. Damn.
Yeah. So don't plan
So
on doing like weddings and things like that up here for that stuff unless you're loaded. Yeah. So what's up,
yep.
Dana? What do we got? What's on your brain today, Dana?
We got a lot of stuff going on, and I was you asked me before when we spoke before the show about, is there anything like burning importance? And I told you there's nothing that's like burning important, but there's a bunch of stuff that is on the list. And
Hmm.
one thing I wanted to talk about briefly was the fact that in Maine right now we're having a lot of very significant pressure to adopt offshore wind, which is
Ooh.
something that some of the people in our legislature are fighting against, and good for them, because we
Hmm.
do not need offshore wind. It's not even a significant enough impact on our grid to make it worth the potential environmental impact and destruction. And did you know that they're trying to get permission to put in an underwater AI data center off the coast in Searsport?
What?
Did you hear this? Oh yeah,
What? I'm wow.
yeah,
Come on.
yeah, underwater data center. Yeah. So, and we've talked about this, Darren, many times. The fact that I truly believe that if we took, like, if you could poll everyone in Maine, like, let's say everyone in Maine was connected to the internet, right? And we could just do a poll and you could just push a button that says, I agree or disagree. And we started asking people questions about specific issues in Maine. I guarantee you, you would find very quickly a strong majority would emerge on most issues. There are very few issues I think we're really divided sharply on. I think
Hmm.
for the most part, you will find, and I'll give you an example: voter fraud, voter security, voter voting integrity. Okay,
Hmm.
the people who are running our elections are sending out mail-in ballots and telling us this is secure. Well, you can't send ballots out in the mail and then claim that that's secure. It's insane. And for those who don't know, there was someone in, I don't remember where they were, but someone in Maine received a package from Amazon, and this happened several months ago, and the package contained 250 blank ballots.
Oh, I heard that.
250
Yeah.
blank ballots, okay? And our Secretary of State, who's this absolute criminal, Shenna Bellows, claimed she would
Bellows.
investigate this, and to my knowledge, no investigation has been made, and we have not had an explanation about how this happened. So if you think our elections are secured, you're crazy. They are not secure. And
Right.
I think everyone in Maine, really, most 90% of us or more, I think, want election security. We want to know
Yeah. I
that only
right.
people who live in Maine get to vote, only US citizens get to vote. You come here and in violation of our laws, you don't get to vote, period. And the whole voter ID thing is insulting. It really is. Like that, like they say, these people say, well, there are people out there who are just apparently too stupid to find the Department of Motor Vehicles and get a damn license, right?
Well,
And we wouldn't want to deprive them of the ability to vote because they just are too dumb to know how to get a driver's license. And
right.
therefore, if we ask for ID, somehow that's a terrible, mean, discriminatory thing. And you must be a xenophobe if you want people to show you
Well,
ID.
I look at it kind of like this. If you guarantee me, because I take offense. I listen. I take offense. I occasionally buy cigarettes and beer, and I take offense to it when they take my ID and they scan my ID. Now, what the hell did you need to scan my ID for? I don't need a list of times that I went to the store and did this. Now, to be insured, not assured, insured that my vote counted and meant something, if it meant that I needed to have a valid ID that you scanned to use as a way of 100% making sure that my vote made it to where it needed to make it go because of the security pipeline thing, and that's what it needed to be, that signature to make sure that my vote mattered, I wouldn't care about it. But if it's just a nonsense thing to check their ID and be like, oh, okay, you're whoever, then throw it out the window. Who cares? I mean, what are they doing with these votes? Verifying? I mean, with these with the IDs? Like, are they putting it into a computer so that it's a data mark that's next to your name, saying I verified that this person was this person, and now this person's, like his votes will be next to this validated ID picture, or is just the person there giving you shit because you don't have an ID? That's the question, Dana.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you.
But that's the way I feel about it. So, like, I don't care about the ID. If it means nothing, then it's nothing. You know what I'm saying? But if it's an important thing in the structure of the whole voting confidence thing, then you know what? Go get an ID. If you smoked and you can't get a cigarette without smoking, you'd go get an ID. It's very easy to
Yeah,
get a state ID.
yeah. You need an
You know?
ID to get cigarettes. You need an ID
Hmm.
to purchase alcohol.
Right.
Uh, it's not that hard. I'm not a big fan of government intervention in my life, but I am not a big fan of voter fraud. And
Right.
those out there who think that there is no voter fraud or that voter fraud is not a major problem, you are wrong. It is a huge, huge problem.
Right. But if there were, again, this is where I go back to and talking about, our out of the main matters thing. If you were to gather every person in the movement that's fighting DHHS, CPS, and all of that stuff and put them together, we wouldn't even have to worry about voter fraud because there would be so many many of us that you couldn't lie about it. You know what I mean? Like there would be such an abundance of votes that came in our direction because the group was so big, you couldn't even worry about voter fraud. Like there's no way. So I mean, this country is just, if they were upset that they challenged this last election against Joe Biden and Donald Trump the way that they did by doing the insurrection the way that they did it, which the our Bill of Rights and Constitution all say it's not your duty. I mean, it's not your right; it's your duty. They did the insurrection properly and did exactly what they were supposed to do, was stop that vote. Um, then maybe this whole voting concept needs to be looked at, and we need to figure out, is this really what we want as in America anymore? But I think on that aspect you can't do that because voting is like the center of the democracy way, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it's imperative
So,
because your alternative is tyranny. And basically, in
mm,
life, if you go to any country on this earth, you're going to have one of two forms of government. There's either a representative government, like a democracy, or there's a tyrannical system of some sort, like communist China. That's
right,
that's the reality of being on planet Earth. And so, given those choices, I will take the democratic system every time, even though one might argue that a tyrannical system, if the guy in charge knows what he's doing, might be better.
right.
And we the people have elected a lot of really scummy individuals,
Mhm.
but it's still better. In my opinion, it's still better. But so yeah,
I
so
mean,
voter fraud is definitely an issue. I would like to see that addressed. Like to see our voter rolls all cleaned up. I'd like to see some sort of security system that, in terms of asking for an ID, so that we know that the people that are voting have a right to vote. And I don't think that's asking too much.
I agree. I agree with you on that. I agree. Um, it's really something that so many want to make such an issue out of something so simple and that's so meaningful at the end of the day. That's so important, and that's so. But you're gonna make a big freaking issue about them, showing your ID, you know? Come on.
Yeah, I mean, the people that oppose this basically are saying that it would be a terrible injustice to some people. There are people out there who would be unable to vote, deprived of their right to vote by asking them to show an ID, and that's absurd.
Do you agree with that? Do you think that there's gonna be people out there that are screwed because of this rule?
From what I understand, and I did a little research into this because I was curious. So I like, show me these people. Who are they? So, and the only people that
Mhm.
I could find that would be potentially unable or at least have a difficult time showing an ID would be Native Americans on reservations.
Yes, because they have reservations.
Because literally everyone else can get an ID. I mean, you can get a driver's license, in any state in this country. So I
So
don't
wait,
think there's any
wait,
excuse.
you can't if you're a Native American, you can't get a driver's license?
No, Native Americans can get driver's license, but they often don't have them, and they can't get one on the reservation.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So, as I understand it, I could be wrong. So, if any of our viewers know more about this than I do, but my point is still the same point, which is we need to require it, and let's figure out how to get an ID to those people that have difficulty getting one. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
What I'm not
Right.
fine with is someone walking in saying, "Yeah, I'm Bob Smith," and especially if Bob's supposed to be 135 years old, which
Right. And he's
I
got a
did.
stack of elections. He's got a stack of voting cards, right?
I did a live stream with a guy who came to Maine. He's actually been to Maine several times. His name is Dr. Douglas Frank, and he has been very diligently delving into the role of voter security. And a lot of people, he's been widely condemned and mocked and ridiculed. And people say that he is claiming that there's widespread voter fraud, but that's not actually his claim. If you listen to him very carefully, he doesn't say there is widespread voter fraud. What he says is the voter rolls are what he calls dirty. So, for example, there are people who are supposed to be like 130 years old who are still on the voter rolls. Well, I don't know too many people that live past, 120. So that might suggest that maybe those people died and they weren't removed from the voter rolls. See?
Yeah.
And if you're sending ballots out in the mail, that's not secure. How is that secure? You can call up and say, "Hey, I need a mail-in ballot. Send me a ballot." And they'll put one in the mail and send it to you. And that woman in whatever it was, I think it was Scarborough, got 250 from Amazon. I mean, this is
It's a nice gift, I guess.
Of corruption. It's just insane, and we will not see accurate elections. And I believe that the election is still potentially very good. I really do. People say, "Oh, the system is flawed. The system is rigged." Blah blah blah. System is not flawed or rigged. We allow them to hijack it. We sit and let them do it and get away with it. The system itself is fine. It's like someone saying, "Oh, I'm trying to lose weight and it's just not working. The system I'm using isn't working." Well, if you're eating cake and donuts all the time, then no, it's not
donuts
going to work. You need to
hit my
change
heart
your
there,
diet
buddy.
and your lifestyle and do what is necessary to lose weight. And I'm not suggesting it's easy. I've seen many people struggle with weight issue. I know it's not easy to lose weight. I get that, but there's a methodology to it. You buy an exercise bike, you stick it in your basement, and then never ride it, and then you go, "Man, that thing is not doing me a world of good."
Yeah, that thing doesn't work at all. I mean, let me go hang my jacket on it.
Yeah, I had a friend that I spent a lot of time with in college, and I was visiting her one day, and I saw she had a book sitting on her table, and it said, I think it was 30 Days to a Flatter Stomach. And I looked at the book. I said, "Huh, this is interesting." I said, "Is this working for you?" And Darren, she looked at me straight face and she said, "No." She goes, "You know what? I put that on my stomach like 10, 15 minutes a day and nothing
get out. That's
happening."
Come on. No, she did not,
joke,
Dana.
dude. Yeah, she did.
All
It
right.
was a
I
joke,
thought you
bro.
said, because I was about
No,
ready
she
to
wasn't
drop this
saying
on the
it
screen.
sincerely.
I was like, I was going to do this right here. I was going to put
the point,
little
the
bullshit meter right on it.
The point was, that's how the system, in all cases, that's how all the systems work. They don't work because we don't make them work.
Right.
And when people come and they commit fraud, they are corrupt, they take bribes, we let them get away with it. Shenna Bellows should be under heavy scrutiny right now. I mean, heavy scrutiny, and being faced
Lord
with
Almighty.
potentially being fired and potentially being charged with a crime. Because how did the ballots end up being sent out in the first place? And just as importantly, what is an investigation revealed? And I don't even think there is an investigation. I doubt it.
This is a great time to break into our video of the day, Dana. Which Dana, I was thinking that maybe we could hit up some of these local brewing companies in Maine, maybe to sponsor our video of the day. What did you think about that?
Geez,
So
that'd
if
be
there's any
great.
local brewing companies out here, and we could sponsor their beers, and when we do the main video of the day, or the week or whatever we call it, about our topic of the week, I think that we could be like, hey, and your sponsor here is Darren and Dana's beer of the week, or whatever it is, like whatever who would it be. So any main brewing companies that are paying attention to what we're doing, if you guys want to get in and do some sponsorship with us, we think that would be great. But
Yeah,
Dana,
hit us up.
here's here's the video that I did for this week's issues that end.
Miles apart,
Oh, I don't want to be the center here.
same state. Same corruption. Same silent
Corruption.
majority still whispering.
That's right.
Someone should
Italian.
do something. We're done whispering. Two names on opposite ends of the same main map. One built the weapon, one felt the trap. CPS Punisher grinding code in the dark. Angry citizen watching the system leave its mark. Same courts, same lies, same rubber stamp lies. Same families shredded while the state looks wise. They count on distance, they count on fear. They count on us staying quiet year after year. Tired of the posts, tired of the sighs, tired of someone should while the children cry. Complaining is free, action costs blood, but silence is the only real flood. Same state, same war, no more dividing lines. CPS Punisher and the angry citizen rise. No more fear of the retaliation game. Expose the heinous or the cycle stays the same. We're done telling Maine we're scared and small. We're done watching illegal acts stand tall. Commit, act, name it, burn the dark. This is the line, and we just crossed the mark. Illegal seizures dressed up as protection. Warrantless doors kicked in without objection. Due process treated like optional ink, while the machine keeps printing another black sink. They thought the distance would keep us apart, thought the fear would stop the beating heart. But every mile between us just made the fuse longer. Now both ends are lit, and the powder's stronger. No more I wish someone would. No more waiting for the next good mood. The state keeps moving because we stay still. That ends tonight, by force of will. Same state, same war, no more dividing lines. CPS Punisher and the angry citizen rise. No more fear of the retaliation game. Expose the heinous, or the cycle stays the same. We're done telling Maine we're scared and small. We're done watching illegal acts stand tall. Commit, act, name it, burn the dark. This is the line and we just crossed the mark. Getting the truth out is more important than telling the state you're too scared to move. Every day we stay quiet is another day they prove they can do it again. And again.
It's true.
And again. We're tired of it. We're past the point of polite. No more protecting their comfort while they destroy another life. The only thing worse than the crime is the silence that lets it continue. So we name it, we document it, we put it in the light, and we do not look away. Same state, same war, the distance is dead. CPS Punisher and the angry citizen stand instead. No more fear, no more polite little games. We expose the heinous and we own the names. We're done telling Maine we're scared and small. We're the ones who refuse to let the illegal stand tall. Commit, act, name it, burn the dark. This is the line and we just crossed the mark. Miles apart was their strategy. Same state, same fight as ours. Maine matters. Now act like it.
All right, Dana, what do you think of that one, buddy?
Strong words.
Mm,
I like how we
absolutely,
look
buddy.
so good in these illustrations.
I know they look great. That's the one thing I
You
do
look
like
great,
about
man.
AI. Yeah, we are just a vision of health in those babies.
Yeah,
Big tough lobstermen and everything.
yeah.
But the message
Bulging
though
muscles.
looks great. Yes, just maybe back in the day I used to represent that, Dana. Actually, I thought I had my picture here of my dapper looking days. I
Mm-hmm.
don't though.
I'm
Oh
sure you have it
darn.
somewhere.
Oh yeah, I do. I
So,
do. Never mind. So we're gonna show this. Nope. I want you to see. I want you to see how representative, this AI picture does realize that I once was. Get the dust off of it. Let me take. Let me take the. Yeah, you can see it. There you go. Can you see? Look at that, Dana. Can you
Wow,
see
look
this?
at you.
Yeah. I
Damn,
mean,
dude.
yeah, dude, I was a machine back in days. You know what? I'm gonna just for the sake of this. I'm sorry, just because everybody does need to see this. This is very important. Um, there we go. Now take a look here. Look at this.
Look at you.
See that? Do you see what's below my breast is?
Macho.
Look at that. That's a six pack, guys. That is a six pack right there. That is what CPS Punisher once did appear as.
Love it.
So yeah. So anyway, um,
Anyway,
they're not that far back at the ranch to where I don't look like now. So I guess the point of that message was what, Dana, is that we're done listening to people say, complain, talk, listen, get pushed down, beat up, stomped on, and tell their story, but then they do nothing about it, right? Like
that
they
is
just leave it
correct.
alone.
That's what we've faced for a long time. That's why so many of the issues that we face don't get resolved. They never will because no one does anything. If
Hmm.
you keep, someone keeps stealing from you and you let them back in your house, they're going to keep stealing from you. This is how it is. You've got to do something. And we, the people, have all kinds of lawful remedies available to us. We just don't use them. We
No, no,
send
we
the
don't.
idiots
And
that are
really,
doing all these bad things, and we send them back there, and they get to do it again.
well, I mean, what are some for instances, Dana? Let's give these people give them um, an idea of what we are talking
Okay.
about here.
Okay.
Okay, so
So, for those of you who don't know, or those of you who potentially don't live in Maine, or maybe even some of you who do live in Maine might be unaware of a lot of things that are going on in our legislature. And one of the absolutely nefarious shenanigan practices that the people that are in charge, which and I try to very hard try to avoid partisan references. I intensely dislike when people say things like the Democrats do blah blah blah, the Republicans do blah blah blah, because it is divisive. But in this case, it is appropriate. And the Democrats that are in control of our Congress would conclude a session, a legislative session, when they had not resolved all of the issues that needed to be resolved. They did this deliberately. Okay. Then they would declare an emergency session to address the things that they hadn't addressed when they left. In other words, they deliberately didn't do their jobs.
right.
And we, the people, should have been screaming at them. Their phones should have been lit up, and absolutely, they should have completely been just verbally eviscerated and castigated and rebuked by we, the people, for that. That is just shenanigans. It's just a deliberate attempt to subvert the legislative process to specifically engineer their own ends and desires. It's really pathetic. But they get reelected. They do this stuff,
Hmm.
then they get reelected. They lie. They tell you they're going to do things when they're getting elected. Okay, most of them, if not all of them, told us when they were going to get elected that they were going to lower taxes. This is something we hear very frequently. And right now, and I'm sorry, but again, the Democrats are talking about how they want to lower property taxes. Well, the property taxes in Maine are the highest in the nation, from what I understand.
Hmm.
And the Democrats have been basically in control of both houses for a long time, and they could have lowered property taxes anytime they wanted to, even if the Republicans decided to oppose that. They could have still done it because they had the majorities and they had the governor. So all they had to do was introduce it, pass it, send it to the governor, and she would have signed it, and boom, off we go. That's a whole different area too. I don't want to get into right now, but I have a significant problem with the fact that the legislature can just simply wave a magic wand and assign a tax that we the people are
Right.
bound uh,
But what
to.
about more people, Dana? What about people that get beat down by our government? What about people that get pushed around in the courthouse? What about people like your friends that get shot? And or what about, like what about the people that say, no, don't do anything, it's gonna make it worse? Because how are we gonna know the suppression that we are put under and that we let ourselves be put under and sustain if nobody makes noise about it?
Yeah. Well,
My house,
that's what
well, go ahead. Sorry.
That's what I've been saying for years, brother. I'm telling you, I've been trying for years, trying to, raise my voice and raise awareness of these issues and tell people that we need to do something. And as you and I have talked about privately, I am just universally denied, decried, and stand down. Don't make a fuss. You know, and I understand that sometimes people face repercussions. You look at everyone in America who has spoken out against lawlessness and see what's happened to those people. They always face repercussions. The evil doers constantly use threat, coercion, um, whatever they can to silence the voices of those of us that are trying to bring attention to their crimes, because that's how they win.
But what do we
So
do, right? What are we gonna do about this, right? What do
I
we
don't know, man.
people need
I
to
think we're
stop
on the
playing
right
around.
path. I mean, I think this is all we can do is just keep speaking and hope that more people hear us and more people are willing to get involved and do something and make some noise.
Right. Well, that's there needs to be not even just making noise. You need to go after them. My family's rights has been violated right here in the state of Maine. Right. Not only have we been blown up, but not only that, but then the state has taken my wife's family's property and made it so we
Hmm.
can't access them. Well, we're not going to sit around and do nothing about it. What did I do? I'll show you exactly what I did. We're not going to take this shit. And we're going to put it into this. This is what everybody needs to be doing. Everybody needs to be doing stuff like this. Do you see this here? This is us. This is our lawsuit against the state of Maine right here, or to the town of Berwick. Actually, we did a 1983 against the town of Berwick, and it's accepted. We got a jury trial that's coming up. So this is how people need to go out and be strong with this stuff. We can't just sit back and be quiet and say, "Oh, it's okay. We're going to let them do this," because you know what? If they can come and take my property, that means they can take your property. They can take your neighbor's property for no reason. They can take the next person's property or the next person's property. People need to pay attention to this stuff. But if people aren't sitting out there and speaking about this stuff, then we don't even know that it's happening.
Amen.
That's the problem. That's the problem. Like, I don't even know that this is. Have you ever looked up how many times your town has done something against you? Like, let's say they come over and they said, "Oh, can you need to throw the trash out in your yard." Let's just use something stupid like that, right? Have
Right.
you ever looked up online and said how many times has the town actually done this to anybody, and how many times can they do it legally? Look this stuff up, and if they're just putting it on you and they've done it to nobody else, that's not right. If you have a disability and they're putting this on you, then you have ADA rights. Come back and speak to them about ADA violations. There's a lot of things that you guys need to do and can do instead of just sitting there and getting rolled over, because you shouldn't be rolled over any longer. Nobody should be. You have the right to
Yeah.
be in this country, in this state, just as much as the guy that's writing all of these things against you. You have the right to own property just like that guy that's writing the things against you. You have the same rights as everybody else that sits at those town meetings. Don't let
Yeah.
them come and
Well,
steamroll you.
not only that, but our what I call power paradigm in America, in each state, and in our nation has been flipped upside down. We the people are in charge. If you look at it like a pyramid, okay, at the base of the pyramid, we have we the people right here, and we the
Yep.
people are in charge. We elect people to do jobs. Those people that level just above us, they don't rule us. We rule them. They work for us.
Hmm.
They're our servants. So they don't get to just say, we're going to do this and you better submit, because that would be like you hire a secretary and the secretary comes in and she says, you're going to install a jacuzzi in the break room, right? No, you work for me. Okay, I tell you what to do, and if you don't
Hmm.
do what I tell you to, you're fired. You're fired. Out you go, right? So we
Hmm.
don't do that because we have this bizarre mindset in this country and in every state where if a government official starts telling you what to do, you better do it. I had a discussion online with a friend once about police, and this is a volatile subject, and I want it known. I'm going to go on record here again as saying I'm not anti-police at all, and I am a friend to law enforcement, and I have good relationships with a lot of people in law enforcement. I understand it's a difficult job, a dangerous job, I get all that, but I am a loud decrier of police overreach, brutality, and corruption. And if you're a cop and you commit a crime, I think you should serve twice the penalty as anyone else because you're a law enforcement officer. So you shouldn't be speeding. I don't want you whipping by me on 95 doing, 80, 90 miles an hour in your cruiser because you know you can get away with it because I don't have the authority to stop you, to pull you over and write you a ticket. But you can do that to me. That's a problem for me. Anyway, so this woman objected to my basically the premise, which is I'm saying you have no authority over me. If I have not committed a crime, you have no authority. I don't want to answer any questions, and I'm cooperative with law enforcement. I have been several times involved in certain situations that required me to interact with law enforcement, and I was very helpful to them. I have no reason to be confrontational or belligerent, but at the end of the day, I'm not under any obligation to answer questions, provide you with information, or obey your damn orders. And I stand on that. And this woman said, and her comment in my Facebook post was something along the lines of, when a cop says jump, I say, how high? And that is very scary to me. That's how totalitarianism gets put into place. So we,
Mhm.
the people, need to understand that the mayor of Bangor, the town manager of Berwick, the governor of Maine, they are not in charge. We are. We are in charge. And
Mhm.
people don't like politics, don't want to be involved in politics. Most people in Bangor have no idea who the mayor is.
Mhm.
Half of us don't vote. And I understand why. I get why. But we have to just swallow that bitter pill and be involved, find out what they're doing. And if they're doing the right thing, support them. For those people who are, and I have a couple of friends in the legislature who are doing a bang up job. One particular friend of mine, who is a representative from Winterport, uh, when she was running for office, she was going around in her home territory, knocking on every door, meeting the people, shaking their hands, talking to them about the issues. And she is in Augusta right now. She's speaking some very very important truths about the shenanigans going on there, about offshore wind. Her name is Reagan Paul, and you can see her on X and on Facebook. She's doing a fantastic job. So, and I frequently send her a text. I say, "You are doing good work. Keep it up. I support you." And she is. Um, and if they are not doing what they need to do, we should all be contacting them and telling them, pick up the phone, call them. You don't have to be a jerk, okay? And no threats. We don't do anything unlawful. We are lawful. We are constitutional. We simply tell them, this thing you're doing, I have a problem with, and here is why. And need to fix what you're doing. And at the end of the day, we have to be willing to take action against them, such as calling for them to be impeached. And that takes
Mhm.
time, it takes energy, it takes effort. But if we all pitch in a little bit, everyone just does a little bit, we could see it happen. It could happen. It takes
Mm.
action. Got to act. And your voice is stronger than you think it is. Just telling them, if enough people
Mm.
call them and complain or write to them and complain, that has an impact. Okay. It may not make changes overnight. It's not a magical, instant solution, but it pushes them in the right direction. That's what we, the people, need to be doing, constantly pushing these people in the direction we want them to go in. Because if we don't, as we have
Mhm.
seen, they will do whatever they want. And that's what they do, right? They get elected.
Mhm.
What's the first thing they do? They get into office, they start doing whatever they want, right? And then at some point later, maybe we find out and maybe we're unhappy with it, but it really never manifests until the next election. And if enough people are unhappy with them, and if there's someone else that might be better that in our eyes should be elected, we will vote that person that's not doing their job out of office. But most of the time that doesn't work because it's a matter of money. They pour money into the campaigns, they have flashy TV advertisements. They tried to sell us Graham Plattner and they painted him up to look wonderful, you know. So got to be involved, got to stay informed, got to make your voice heard. And if all of us do it, then we will see results. That's absolutely bottom line truth.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, you got to show the masses that you got to show the people that you mean business, that you're not going to lay down. That makes me want to bring up the angel advocacy group real quick, Dana.
Okay.
Our friend Charlene, she's out there. She's pushing the envelope, for these kids that are affected by CPS. She's a person that's out there and she's doing something against all
Hmm.
this. She's not letting these kids any longer, that have been destroyed by the system. she's not letting them, she's not letting them go without a voice. She's doing all kinds of events for these kids, trying to help them associate with their lives after CPS and involved with CPS. I mean, she's a woman that's doing stuff, man. And we talked about her on, was it last night's show or the night
Yeah, last
before?
night.
But yeah, last night. I mean, she's doing great
Yep.
things, and she's taking strides to ensure that this does not happen again.
Yep.
She's making people be aware that this is what's taking place. This is what you got to do, guys, is things like this. So make sure you guys check out Angel Advocacy. I know she has a lot of things coming up, a lot of good stuff coming up. And I mean, maybe if she's trying to make it a nationwide thing, we can even start a division up here in Maine or something, to help her get going with that. I don't know. But she's
I'm
definitely
down.
doing great things for the kids. And I think the kids are where I am too, definitely 100%. But I think the kids are where we need to lay our focus on, because they are the next generation. They are the new us. They are, all this stuff. And she's definitely doing the right thing. So thank you, Charlene, for doing that stuff. And everybody, make sure you check out Angel Advocate Association online. Definitely chime in, see if you guys can help her out. Whatever you can do to help what she's doing, then that would be great. We'd really appreciate it. And we're going to do everything that we can for Charlene. So thank you, Charlene, for that. All right. I know that was an impromptu
Yeah, good stuff.
shout out, but
We're gonna
it
put
was
in
it
her
was wanted to
website
throw on
here in the
that.
comments, folks, if you want to check that out. She's doing really,
Ah,
really
yes,
important work.
sure.
So you can click there, go check out the
Yeah.
website.
I mean, anything empowering the kids is. Did you get it, Dana, or do you want me to grab it for you?
What website? No, I posted it.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh, yes, you did. I see it
Yeah,
right
yeah,
there
we're
over the
good.
top. Perfect.
So
Awesome. Awesome, man. Cool.
we want to remember that the first step to making any kind of a change, or to uh, take back our republic, take back our state, hold the elected servants accountable, demand justice, transparency, accountability. The first step is what I call awareness. So you won't hear Darren's story on the evening news. Okay. For those of you who do not know, I think probably a lot of people really understand this, but there are still people out there that think that the mainstream media is giving you accurate information, and they are
Right?
not. And I absolutely am 100% certain, because until recently I worked for a TV station and I watched TV. Literally, part of my job was watching the news. I watched the local news and I watched the national news programs, including Good Morning America, and it made my blood boil watching these absolutely hideous propaganda pieces that they ran. And they had, during the scam, the COVID scam, they had Narav Shah, who I absolutely passionately despise, from the Maine CDC, telling us all to wear a suffocation device and hide in our homes. And
Mhm.
we all had to get injected with an experimental concoction, which no one knew what it was or what it did. They couldn't tell you the
Yeah.
side effects, and you got no informed consent with it. Okay. And I watched them talking about this,
Mhm.
and they would come on, and I would sometimes be screaming at the TV, bro. I'm serious. Like, hey, come on. And here's Michael Strahan comes on, and he goes, a new deadly variant has emerged. And I would start screaming at Michael Strahan, how do you know? How do you know? How do you know? Stop the bus right there. Where did it appear? How was it identified? Who identified it? Did you see it under a microscope and say, oh, look, there it is. It has, AR 1525 written on it. It's obviously a new variant. But they don't supply you with that
AR
information.
1525.
They don't say that.
Right.
They just tell you this, and it's all fear mongering propaganda. And they clearly, and I want everyone to know, I'm not a Donald Trump fan, but I give him his credit where it is due. And no one can deny that they hated this man with a passion. And every single thing they could put on there to make him look bad and make him sound like a fool, they did. And they never gave him any credit for anything. There was never a moment when Donald Trump did something and the news represented it in a way that was praising him or giving him a measure of credit for having done whatever it was that he did. Everything he
Mhm.
did was
Right.
presented as, like, he talked about election fraud, and the media used the phrase Donald Trump's false claims of election fraud. Every time they brought it up, every time, 100% of the time, that was the phrase they used. Donald Trump's false
Mhm.
claims of election fraud. Election fraud is absolutely real,
Mhm.
and we all who are concerned about it will talk about that, and we'll even show you. Like I said, I can guide you on that, and show you how it's very obvious that that there was fraud. It was supposedly 84 million people in our country voted for Joe Biden, which is ludicrous at face
Yeah, that's
value.
bullshit.
Absolutely ludicrous.
Either
I
that
can't
or this
believe
country is out of control.
I can't believe
Yeah,
anyone could
that's
say
bullshit or
that.
this country's
He
out.
hid in his cellar the
Yeah,
whole time. He's clearly mentally
come
incompetent.
on.
You only have to watch the guy for about 2 minutes to figure out that he is not all there and never was every time he was talking. And you know what I find amazing, this is a small thing, but it really isn't, is if you look at this guy, every time you look at him, he has this is how Joe Biden looks in every picture. He's not
Yeah,
there. Anyway, so
is he real?
the media is owned, all of the major media are owned by the same six companies, okay, including companies like Disney, which is not a kind, benevolent company. They present themselves as the wonderful, kind, benevolent, family friendly, people that they're not. They're absolutely not. And that information that you're getting on the TV is not necessarily accurate. They'll give us accurate information if it suits their agenda, but you have zero guarantee that the information they're presenting to you is accurate, that the things they're telling you are real. And if you start asking questions, just ask, like, where did this video come from? Like, at whatever point they show you a video of people on stretchers, but they don't tell you, where was this video taken? When was this video shot? Who shot this video? It's just a video, people in stretchers with fear mongering propaganda telling us the number of cases of COVID with big red lines. And, you know, so if you want information, you got to dig. And I spent a considerable amount of time sifting through information because a lot of people are not really providing you with accurate information, even if it isn't mainstream. So you start going through your Facebook feed, you go to TikTok, and you go to X, and you go to whatever, and you start listening to podcasts, and you listen to Joe Rogan, and you listen to Darren and me, and you have to listen, think, and consider every single thing we're saying. Um, if you didn't know Darren or me, right, and you're just flipping around on the internet one day and you come across this and you tune in right now, you hear us talking, who the hell are these guys? Never heard of them, no idea who they are, and we could both be con men. We really could. At the end of it, we could say, "Listen, we're doing God's work here, but we need your help, folks. Please send us money." And we put a GoFundMe or whatever on the bottom of. And meanwhile, Darren and I are, living like kings and driving around in limos. You don't know that, see? So it takes time. You have to listen.
Do people still go out in limos?
Some do. You have to listen and you have to
Yeah.
pay attention and you have to be able to validate the claims that are made. So if I tell you there was election fraud, I might be lying to you. Maybe I have an agenda, right? So now you want to know if there's election fraud. Again, go research Dr. Douglas Frank, Dr. Douglas G. Frank. Okay, there's a video of him on my YouTube channel that I did a video with him about election integrity in Maine, and he talks about this. I'll share the link with you guys right now. So see, this is something important for those of you who you want to find out whether you're being told the truth. It is a smart play to think carefully and use your discernment. God gave us a power of discernment. It is the ability to determine if someone's telling you the truth. Think about it, examine the evidence, ask questions, and decide for yourself if someone is telling you the truth or not, or if someone is telling you is accurate or not. Keeping in mind, sometimes people say things that aren't true, but they don't know they're not true. They're repeating something they've heard, and they hear someone say it. During the COVID scam, I saw a post online that a bunch of people that I know put on their Facebook page, and it said, "I've done my research." That was the first phrase in it. It said, "I've done my research, and I'm going to, get the shot because it's what's best for me and my family," and blah, 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 blah. Well, I happen to know for a fact that those people did not do the research because there was no information available. When it first came out, there was no information available. The package insert was blank. Did you know that? They had a blank
Mm,
piece of paper in the
mm-mm.
box, nothing on it. No side effects, no
Really?
contraindications, no informed consent. Just here, have it. Okay, you're good to go. Out you go. Yeah, truth. And again, folks, I'm not asking you to believe me.
Wow.
Don't believe me.
Wow.
Don't take
Okay.
my word for it. Look it up. Do your research. You'll see that what I'm talking about. So I know these people didn't do any research. They just saw the meme on someone's page, and it was probably a person that they respected who was very intelligent. And folks, a lot of very intelligent people were
Hmm.
fooled. Okay, that this is not like you're an idiot if you believed it. A lot of the people that believed it are very intelligent people. They're just naively trusting. Most of them are good, kind, decent people. They're trying to do the right thing, trying to help other people, see? And they got angry at those of us that asked questions because they thought we were being disruptive and disrespectful and opposing what would have benefited everyone, all of mankind. But when the list of side effects finally came out, it was horrific. Those of you who don't know have never looked
Mhm.
into this, and we're talking about myocarditis, paralysis, heart attack, strokes, blood clots, and death. And we all started seeing people passing out everywhere. Remember that? There's a great video that I just
Yeah,
saw
yeah.
recently, compiled of, like 15, 20 different incidents where people were standing like on camera and just passed right out cold. Um,
Mhm.
and so I know that when I saw this meme, I know that these people had not done any research. They hadn't looked into it. And that's what we have to do. That's the end of my rant. Just think for yourself, use your own brain and look for information. And if you like what I have to say, what Darren has to say, tell a friend, hey, you should listen to these guys from Maine. They have some information that you might
Mhm.
find useful and helpful. Um, I put on a video. Actually, we should show this. So I found a video and it's called The Empty Hospitals. I don't know if you've ever seen it. Um,
Mm, I've not.
so, if you all remember during the COVID scam, uh, we were constantly told by the media that um, hospitals were overwhelmed. That's the word they kept using. Overwhelmed. Hospitals are overwhelmed.
Mhm.
At one point, they were doing using the phrase
Mhm.
on the brink of collapse. We heard that phrase many times.
Mhm.
Hospitals are overwhelmed, they're on the brink of collapse. Uh,
Mhm.
and I was definitely not seeing what I consider to be evidence of the existence of the horrible plague that was killing people in droves. Okay. Now, granted, I live in a semi kind of sparsely populated area, but even so, I should have been seeing it, right? Seeing people getting sick. And I did not see that at all.
Mhm.
And I know for a fact that the hospitals here were not overwhelmed. They were not at any point having so many people coming in that they were unable to serve people or help people. This just was not happening. So I did, or I would have
Mhm.
done what these people did. They went to their local hospitals and they filmed the hospital. And there's a great one which was filmed in at Elmhurst Hospital in New York. And we were told on the mainstream media that the voice of Sauron was telling us that Elmhurst Hospital was the epicenter of the pandemic. That was the phrase they used over and over again. The epicenter of the pandemic, overrun, on the brink of collapse. Okay, and someone got in their car and drove down to Elmhurst Hospital with their camera and filmed a video of the entire thing. And they drove into the parking lot, and there was like two or three cars in the parking lot, plenty of open spaces, parking spaces, no people visible outside, no lines, no ambulances rushing in and out, just business as usual day at the
Mhm.
hospital. They got out of their car, and the guy's talking the whole time. He's like, "Here we are. This is, you can see Elmhurst Hospital, and there's the sign." And he drives in and he parks and he gets out and he goes walking in the front doors, and there's the emergency room, emergency. And he goes in. There's no one in the waiting room. There's like one guy sitting reading a magazine in a chair. There's
Mhm.
a nurse or an administrative assistant or whatever sitting behind the desk, and he's looking around. He says, "As you can see, there's no people here. Nothing going on." I mean, it was a lie. I'm sorry to say, but and this is very hard uh, for people to hear, and I get that because the breadth of it, the depth of it was so heinous. But that's where you find the truth. That's what I'm saying to you folks. Research for yourself. Don't believe it offhand. And that is what those of us that are telling you the truth, that's what we say. We say, we're going to tell you stuff and you can verify it. I wouldn't ask you to just blindly accept my word. I will
Mhm.
show you the evidence. I'll lead you right to it. Okay. The people that are lying to you are going to shut down our voices. They're going to remove our videos, delete our videos, and they're going to make a pretense of that they're somehow protecting you. And you need to very carefully
Mhm.
think about what this means, what they're saying to you. What they're saying to you is,
Mhm.
you are too fucking stupid
Mhm.
to know right from wrong, and you should not be
Mhm.
allowed to be given information because you are a gullible little sheep and you will believe it. If this crazy dude from Maine tells you that, you know, a shot is dangerous, you will believe him. You won't do any research. You won't talk to your
Mhm.
doctor. You'll just believe this guy, and then you'll refuse to get it, and then you'll wither and die. So we're not going to let you hear what he has to say.
And you're gonna just run in and do it anyway.
So
It's crazy.
I will tell you, do your research. Here's how I know this information to be true. Here's the video. Here's the person saying this. Okay, the other people, the ones that are lying to you, they say, just take my word for it. I'm a doctor. I'm a scientist. I have a diploma. Do you see the diploma on my wall? It says summa cum laude, expiationary, summa cum laude, blah blah blah, and it's all Latin. I know.
X5
Yeah, but that's
VVVLXTY
that's
main.
Latin and it's
Yes.
in calligraphy. And I had to sit through classes
Mhm.
for like 8 years and listen to people talking about stuff. If I want to be a doctor, do you know I have to
Mhm.
memorize the Latin name for all the body parts? Yeah. So I can tell you about your medulla oblongata. But
Don't talk about my
does that
medulla oblongata.
does that mean I know what I'm talking about and I can heal you if you're sick? Not the same
Mm.
thing.
Mm.
Anyway, I've gone on too long about that. So information is your friend, folks. That's step one, is finding out the truth. The truth bears scrutiny.
Mhm.
Truth is the sword of God. Seek and you will find. And then you can make informed decisions, and that's important. Informed decisions will allow us all to fix the problems that are going on. But it follows action, which Darren was talking about earlier. So you find out the information you need, then you take action of some sort, even if it's just using your voice to talk to the people that are in charge that actually work for us and say, this is, and tell them
Mhm.
that straight up. Okay. So, listen, folks, I want you to know you work for me. And your presumption that somehow you're able to just do whatever you want and I'm supposed to follow your orders is completely flawed. You work for me. And here's what I want. I want you to pass a responsible budget. Okay. You don't get to just spend money willy nilly like it's growing on trees and then jack up our taxes.
Mhm.
No, we the people say no. You're going to figure out a way to cut spending. You're going to go through that budget. You're going to find all the waste. And if there's fraud, and recently there's been a lot of discussion about Medicare fraud in Maine, which we all knew was
Mhm.
there. Okay. But people were getting away with it. And now that's being exposed. And you're going to cut out all the waste, all the spending. And then if there's been money spent on things that are questionable, we're going to demand an investigation. And if it turns out that you did something that is in violation of our laws, then you will be charged with a crime and you'll be tried. And if you're found guilty, you will be sentenced to a punishment according to the laws. That's what I want to see.
Mhm.
Sorry, end of rant.
I agree with that. 1000%. 1000%, Dana. 1000%. I agree with
Did
it.
you see what Louis said about
Um,
taking the shot?
yeah, they regret it
Yeah,
every
yeah.
day. Louis, I can't believe it when I see you, I'm gonna smack you in the head.
You
I
know,
can't believe you guys took the
a lot of
shot.
people did. I mean, so many people, and even people that were very close to me. Um, my sister and I had a falling out recently, which is unfortunate, and she took the shot and she refused to listen to me when I tried to talk to her about COVID or the vax or anything. She
Mhm.
shut me right down. Don't want to hear it. Boom. Just
Mhm.
and same thing there. She told me she did research, and I know she didn't because no one who did any research would have allowed that to happen. These people were just very very trusting. And Louis, on your behalf, I'm telling you, I understand, man. I really do. You've got all these people in white coats with diplomas and they're all so smooth and friendly. Aren't they charming and friendly? Really, at least when they're trying to
Little old
sell you
man giving you a
something.
shot.
And then yeah,
Yeah, little old man giving you a shot.
and they say safe and effective, don't they? Every time they talk about
Mhm.
these
They
things, the
sure
first
do.
thing out of their mouth is safe and effective, safe and effective,
Yep.
safe and effective. It's a slogan.
Safe and effective.
It doesn't even really mean anything.
Mhm.
It's just a slogan that they're throwing out there. And they didn't disclose the side effects. They didn't give us any informed consent. Um, so the whole thing
Mhm.
stank. But a lot of people did it, and unfortunately, most people regret it. And a lot of people died. and a lot of people got paralysis, blood clots, myocarditis, passed out on TV. Crazy.
Yeah, and we won't even know what the bulk of these people have until it happens.
Well, I mean, we've
There's still more to come with what was may or may not
say,
have been
yeah,
the bulk
we,
of these things.
there's going to be long-term repercussions that we haven't seen yet for sure. You know, the long-term repercussions of having constant microclots in your veins. Um, there's a great video
Yeah,
online somewhere
yeah,
about
dude.
the coroners that were getting the bodies of the people that were dying and finding that the entire blood system of these people had just coagulated into a rubbery substance, like they're pulling out long rubbery worms out of the veins and
Yeah,
arteries of these
yep.
people because it was their blood had just coagulated into like gelatin.
Hmm.
It was really disturbing, and you won't see any of
Yep.
that on your mainstream news. Trust me, they're
No,
not
we will
talking
not.
about that.
Nope, no, we don't. We don't say anything about it, and that's the stuff that needs to be reported, and that's the
Yep,
stuff that gets you blocked off of YouTube.
exactly. So that should tell you everything,
So
folks.
people,
The harder
right?
they try to shut you
Don't let
down,
these people.
the more important the
Hmm.
message is, and
The
you should
closer
hear it.
you are, the closer you are to getting the truth. Let's see. I want to see here. We had Jess on. My friend Jess was on. Jess, what's up? Good to see you. Thank you. Charlene was here too as well. Tammy, I love Tammy. Tammy, say a prayer for us all, please. I love Tammy so much. She's always right there by us, giving. She's our prayer warrior. She is the SIHIT. I won't say that because she's a prayer warrior, so you shouldn't put that with a swear word. But Louie and Susie are here. We've had a lot of people in here, guys, tonight. So thank you for that. And make sure that you guys leave comments here. Don't be afraid to leave comments. We love to hear from you guys. We want you
For
guys to be a
sure.
part of our show. That's how we do things. I'm just taking a stretch out here before my narcolepsy pinned me over, so I had to stand up for a second. So I'm just coming off camera for a minute. But yeah, like we need to make sure that you guys know that we want you posting in here. We want you being a part of this show. That's what makes this show. That's what makes this interactive. That makes it why you guys would even come in and listen to us. If you've got questions, we've got answers. Or maybe we don't, but we'll try to answer it the best we can. And don't forget, just because this is Maine Matters doesn't mean it's just about Maine. All of the things that we talk about, even though they say Maine, are probably issues in your town and your areas as well. So maybe what we are talking about, you can relate to your areas and bring an answer or a resolve to that area. So
Exactly.
that's what I got to say, Dana. That's about it for me, my
Yeah.
friend.
Well, we've said a lot. I've said a lot. So sorry for monopolizing the, the next
No, yeah,
here.
no, you're good, man. You get a little jaw break in. Um, Yeah, make sure you guys check out next week. Check out Tiff and the Punisher on Monday through Thursday. Dana's in there with us on Thursdays with the Angry
I
Citizen. So
am
it's Tiff and the Punisher with the Angry Citizen. We have a good time together and we do all kinds of good stuff.
best podcast ever.
So yeah, ever, even though the numbers say that Joe Rogan and that one is, but don't listen to
Joe
them. They're
Rogan's all
lying.
right. You know, no,
Yeah, yeah.
I
You'll be
actually
on our
like,
show
I
at some
actually like
point.
Joe. I like Joe a lot. And what's funny was, we can part with this. So a while back, it was said that Joe Rogan had used the N word. And this was just after he interviewed Dr. Robert Cullip, I think it was. And of course, they were just trying to distract the powers that be. The voice of Sauron, Ministry of Propaganda, was trying to distract us from the content of
Hmm.
broadcast because basically Dr. McCullough was talking about a lot of things I've just said about the effectiveness of hydrochloroquine and ivermectin, and how they were telling us that were not going to work, and they had to do that because that was how they got the emergency use authorization for using the jab, because otherwise they couldn't have gotten emergency use authorization if there had been some
Yeah,
treatment that had worked. So they tried to tell us these things didn't work, and they did work. And the people that were using them, the doctors that were using them, were attacked, vilified, and demonized, and actually personally attacked, and some were murdered. And again, you won't hear about that on the evening news, but that was going on in the nation. So Joe Rogan interviews this guy and basically talks about all these forbidden subjects. And what happens? Immediately, they are attacking Joe Rogan, and the media is showing him, and
right.
they did a marvelous job. They love to take whatever they can find of you, of videos, footage, things you say, and chop them up, edit them very carefully, and isolate specific
Mhm.
phrases to make it sound like what you're saying isn't really what you were saying at the moment. They don't that's dishonest. They don't play your
Right.
whole message. They just pick one little chunk of it. And Joe
Yep.
Rogan did a comedy routine, which you can see on YouTube. It's really funny. Okay, look it up. And he talks about how certain words have a lot of power inherently, right? Just the word itself, when you say it, regardless of the context, has a lot of power. And that was one of the words he used. Okay. And I don't remember the other words, and I don't really remember the whole thing. It was very funny. I might go look it up and listen to it. But he wasn't saying it with hate. He didn't say he wasn't disparaging black people. He was just pointing out the fact that if you say this word, it has an impact, and it did. See, and then he said the word right, and he says it right into the microphone. And I'm not going to say it because that'll raise holy hell, and we'll get all kinds of hate mail. But you get my point. So he says it
Yeah,
right in
don't
the
do that
microphone,
yet. We're not part of that yet. Yeah,
and
don't get that yet.
the whole audience is just silent, right? And he looks at them and he goes, "See, he's making a point."
Yeah, yep, yep,
Okay. So of course the media
yep.
then starts circulating like he said this word as if somehow he had done it in a confrontation with a black man or something like that. And so he was able to comment on this, and he made a comment, and you can look this up as well. His comment was actually very interesting. And one of the things he said during his comment was, it might be very difficult for someone to understand why a white man might use that word under any circumstances. And this was a small piece of what he said to address the comments, but they took that piece and played it, see? And that became, in the
Mhm.
media's eyes, his complete response to why would you do this? And also, never did they address the content, which is important, right? The context. Well, why did he say it?
Mhm.
Well, he said it because he was doing a comedy routine talking about words that have significant power and demonstrating to the audience in a humorous way how this phenomenon manifests. See, that's what they do. They twist words, they twist meanings, they levy false accusations, they distract you from the message, right? Here's an important message, and they're all like, "Oh, Joe Rogan's a racist," right? And now we're not talking about what was said in the interview. So pay attention to what is said.
Yeah,
Words matter.
they do, and so does Maine, Dana. So does Maine.
Amen.
I
Good
wanna
segue.
just give us a we need a good segue. It is a good segue. You know what, Dana? Let's just talk for one more minute here. I got something else that I'm brewing up real
All
quick that
right.
I just thought of. So if we can just talk for just another minute and a half, that would be
While you're
great.
brewing.
If you have something else while I'm brewing
Uh
this thing
huh.
up here. Yeah.
Yeah, brewing
I don't know
rocks.
if you have anything else.
Dude, I
That's
could
right.
talk
I'm gonna
all
brew
day.
up something that's
It's
gonna
my
be
special
pretty damn
gift.
funny. All right, so talk away for another minute, Dana. Let's do that while I finish brewing this thing up that I've been building for a minute.
Okay.
Um,
Um,
and yeah, you need like another
I
minute or
told
two.
you,
That's it.
well, if you stop talking, I will talk. I told you all,
All right, talk, Dana.
told you, Darren, told all of our listeners that I am composing some letters. And these letters are going to be very, very, very carefully, diplomatically worded letters that are going to address how I feel about issues. And I'm going to send these letters to lots of people, sheriffs, every elected servant in our legislature, both in our state of Maine and nationally, um, a lot of people in industries, including child protective services. And I'm going to simply articulate what I believe to be the absolute truth of these situations, the truth of these injustices, uh, and to give them an opportunity to respond. And I'm going to post these on my website, and I'm going to talk about them here. And I will that these will be available to all of you. If you read my letter and you like it, and the first one I'm going to write will be a declaration of sorts, simply saying that we, the people, are in charge. We need to remind you of this, and we are going to be addressing some issues, and you will be responding to what we say, or you will be fired. And I'm going to ask if I could get everyone in America to send it. That would be great. That would send a deafening message to them that we, the people, are not messing around. We're going to hold you accountable. We're going to demand transparency. Transparency is simply, you don't get to do all your stuff in secret and tell us it's a matter of national security, and we're not, allowed, hate that phrase, not allowed, like you're talking to a child, not allowed to do this or that, or to know this or that because we say so. And we're better, smarter, superior. They're claiming authority, and that's an important word everyone should definitely know and use, because authority is the basis that gives them the ability to lawfully act in some way, such as to arrest you. So, if, for example, someone doesn't have the authority to arrest you, then they can't walk up to you and say, "You're under arrest. I'm placing you under arrest," because they don't have the authority. And we need to always question authority, because authority doesn't mind being questioned. If I say, "What gives you the authority to do this?" you should be able to tell me, or you can't and you don't have it. And this is true of all of our elected servants, you say, because they do things that they don't have the authority to do. As an example, which I've talked about many times, the governor of any state does not have the authority to order you to stay in your home. A declaration of emergency does not do anything to subvert or change your God-given constitutionally protected rights. No emergency power supersedes the Constitution. And again, don't take my word for this. Okay, I know this for a fact. I would not be saying it right now live over the air. I am absolutely certain that this is true. I've validated, tracked it down. You can too. You've got a lot of tools available to you. The internet's a great research tool. Just do a little research, look it up. You're going to immediately see that I'm right. So Janet Mills ordered people to close their businesses. I did an interview with a guy, Rick Savage, who owned a business up in Bethel, Maine called Sunday River Brewing, and he was ordered to close his restaurant, which he did. And then after about 3 weeks, he just said, "You know what? I can't keep doing this." He's got people to feed, not just people that come to the restaurant, but the people that work there, the cooks, the dishwasher, the servers, everyone that worked there. Plus, he and his family deserve to eat. And he was harassed. Agents started arriving there. The liquor agency inspector, the health inspector just started harassing him mercilessly. And this was because, and I am absolutely certain of this, even though I have no specific evidence available to show me that this is the case, I am as certain as I can be it was the case, that this was ordered by our governor, Janet Mills, in order to punish and harass him for daring to oppose her mandate. And at the end of the day,
Mm.
she did not have the authority to do it.
Mhm.
Absolutely true.
All right, Dana.
You ready,
That's
bro?
perfect. Hey, right here, guys. Yeah, this is Reunification Central, guys. Hit that QR code. Make sure you guys go check that out before we leave. This is Reunification Central. If your family has been lost and torn apart because of CPS, click this, get in there, sign up for it. Let your family members know that you're looking for them, or they need to sign up to say that they're looking for you, whether you're a
And
kid looking
share
for
it.
your parents or a parent looking for
Share
your
it,
kids.
share it with other
Yes,
people. If
share it
you know
all
anyone
over,
that's been
please.
affected by CPS, whether they had children
Yep,
kidnapped or whether they were kidnapped as children, whatever, share this with them. Let's get as many of these people reunited as we can,
yep,
because that coalition is going to be really powerful, and you guys could see some accountability there.
yep.
And I'd love to see it for you. I really would.
So let's make that grow. But other than that, guys, we're out of here. Have a good
Thank
night,
you all so
everybody.
much for
Maine
your
matters, right, Dana?
absolutely. Thank you all so much for your loyalty and
Same state,
friendship.
same script. I'm deeply troubled. I'm concerned. I'm just as shocked as you are. I believe the president has learned his lesson. I would vote for him again, yes. I've been named the most bipartisan member year after year. I'm worried. He's so unattractive. Same state, different stations. Same carefully measured statements. Maine matters, or just more carefully worded chatter. Colin says she's troubled. Mills says see you in court, and then some. Miles apart, same state, same show. I'm independent. I'm not Joe Biden, for God's sake. We're tired of the quotes that go nowhere. I have spent the better part of my career listening to loud men talk tough to disguise their weakness.
See you in court?
We will not be intimidated. We will not be silenced. If you seek to harm Maine people, you will have to go through me first. What the fuck? Good Lord, I'm not Joe Biden, for God's sake. I understand you would like to make it as cheap as possible for people to smoke. Troubled, concerned, bipartisan, learned his lesson. See you in court, go through me first. What the fuck? Not Joe Biden. Most bipartisan, so unattractive. state, same script, same nothing new under the pine tree. Maine matters, or just more carefully worded chatter. Colin says she's troubled, Mill says see you in court, and then some. Miles apart, same state, same show. Stop telling the state you're thoughtful and strong while the same old lines keep rolling along. Commit, act, or keep quoting. We're tired of it. Same state, same quotes. Maine matters when the words finally match the words.